Hi, my name is Bailey Heesch, and I have had the amazing pleasure of talking with Keith Andrew, and you should definitely be watching his show. He is a very unique and one of a kind person, and his show is a lot of fun.
I can always edit that part out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 557. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. Today, I have a very special guest. She's the beautiful and talented Ms. Bailey Heesch. And I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Absolutely, thank you.
Now, the honor is all mine. And for people who want to know why it's also special, it's a Halloween theme, so I love your outfit. I love how you did your eyes to really stand out.
Thank you.
And I'm a bad flirt, so also I'm in my little punker outfit. And with that being said, people who want to know what my talk show is about, whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and your dog agrees. Prove to them, I lost my train of thought. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and to prove to them you can step out to something. So hashtag break the labels. And for people who want to know what's the point of the vote, the point is, if a kid with a disability can still amount to something, I'm able to turn myself into an example, show you that labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be. That being said, normal conversation, and I put your card right here, so I wrote down some good questions I wanted to ask you. So basically, half hour, 33 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. Gloves off, I have nothing to hide. And starting off, what can you tell us about life growing up?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so I don't want to say that by the time, my parents got to me, it was kind of like, they were still really hard on me, but I did get away with a lot more. And I grew up in Boise, Idaho, so smaller city, and I don't know, life growing up, it was fun, I guess. I was a tomboy. I hung out with my brother quite a bit. If you can guess that I was a tomboy. So play army and BMX, bike, and blow stuff up with fireworks and skateboarding and all sorts of things. Oh my gosh, racing. Yeah. So my parents really did teach me a lot of hard work and ethics also, again, because I was the youngest of 5. If I wanted anything, I pretty much had to work for it and pay for it myself. So I had a job at 15, bought my car all by myself, paid for all my gas and everything else, started paying for my phone because cell phones were a new thing at the time when I was in high school. So I didn't get my first cell phone till high school, and so I'd pay for that. Started paying rent when I was in high school. So I really appreciated what my parents did for me with making sure that I didn't get away with too much, even though I did, and made sure that I worked hard for the things that I wanted. And let's see, I started college at 2 weeks after I turned 18. So I was pretty young, and then I went right into financial services after that, and I've always done a lot of charity work, so I volunteered at my church. I was a youth group leader for several years. I was on the board of trustees. I mean, I was doing all sorts of things. So I feel like even though I haven't gotten to where I want to be yet, I have accomplished a lot in my short 30 years that I've been here.
Well, we're the same age, so you're 30, I'm 30.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
Doesn't number, doesn't mean anything. But I think you're better looking than I am. I know I have a fat neck.
I don't know. I have kind of that baby face, so it keeps me youthful looking, I think, which can be a curse and a gift at the same time.
It's true. Now, my next question I was going to ask you, actually the easy ones, and we can go to the hard-hitting ones, is were you a study nerd or party animal? And also, what were some of your favorite activities that you like doing but people think it's weird?
Ooh, okay. I would say that I am one of those introvert extrovert people. So in high school, it seemed like I was a partier, but I definitely was not. I could not get away with anything. And college years, I think I had a short stint of partying a little bit. Didn't really do much. I met my husband young. We have 3 kids. So I kind of grew up really fast also. It eliminated most of my party days. When I started into the modeling acting industry, I would say that there's probably a little bit more of that partying because you got to go to a lot of parties and network. And since we've lived here in Utah, we've definitely, this is like our quiet time. We just kind of keep to ourselves, hang out with our little family at home, do our own thing. And it's actually really, really nice doing that. So, and I'm also kind of a nerd. I like to research. So I don't, and a control freak. So I really don't like to go out and party too much because I like to be in control of myself. And I would much rather just kind of research and type up contracts and do all sorts of weird things like that. Oh, see, that's a hobby. That would be a weird thing I like to do. I love contracts and I love basically just learning and researching. My parents really did think that I was going to go to law school because I'm always researching and I want to be right all the time, which I'm not going to law school yet. That would be something to do for fun. What else do I like to do?
Are you like a storyteller?
Very bad at it. Even though I work in, I do acting and all of that, and I work in films and commercials, I'm not that creative. I'm very much more of a realist than a creative mind. So I'm very analytical.
Yeah. What about, a lot of people might find me for this, did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or are you not into the whole human pyramid stuff?
Maybe. Like the, kind of like the trust things?
Well, kind of. People just do it for fun, too.
Yeah, I think I did. I was kind of trying to think about my friend. I know one of my really good friends in junior high was a cheerleader, so we always did fun stuff like that, I guess. But, I did a lot of sports and I did ballet, but it's kind of funny how uncoordinated I am also.
Well, would you ever be up for doing one, or it's not your forte?
Nah, I'm so boring now.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Right, I'll watch. I'll take pictures.
Now, my next question I was going to ask you is, you mentioned if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, but you mentioned you had your kids when you were young. So, at what age did you have your kids?
Okay,
you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I was young. I was in high school when I had my first. And I met my husband, obviously, really young. So I was 20 when I had my second and 23 when I had my third. So I kind of gave him a timeline. I said, because I had kids right away, I said, I'm done having kids by 25. So if you want any more, by 25. So we didn't have our... Yep.
Sounds pretty good. At least you're not like tied down or anything, pretty much.
No, I mean, we like it. They're all getting older now, so it's great because they're developing into their own little humans, and it's a lot of fun to see. And I know that they'll be out of the house when I'm 43, so still be young enough to go and explore and hopefully have a little bit more money by that time.
That's true. Hey, never say never. So the next question I was going to ask you about really caught my interest is you are a casting director. And the first question I want to ask is, have you ever worked, besides me, apparently you're on my show, have you ever worked with people with special needs? And are you willing to work with people with special needs?
Okay. I've worked kind of, because I was a booking agent for several years as well. And so when I was an agent, I really did my best to try and expand the amount of people that we had. Of course, we have to cater to the clients that we have here. Hold on a second. Hey, guys. Oh, please. Thank you. Okay, sorry. My kids were trying to get into Halloween candy.
Anything can happen live. And you're more than welcome to join us if you like.
No, they'll be obnoxious. I'll give you peace when we're done. When I'm done here, peace. Okay? Out. Thank you. Okay, so I would say, yeah, we kind of did, but not as much. I feel like more people are kind of scared too, and I don't want to assume. But I think it's becoming more and more common for people with special needs to come into this kind of industry, which I think is really great because I do it because I like to express myself, and it's a way to get out and be creative. And so anybody should be able to do that. I was actually at an audition the other day, and there was a gentleman that came, and he had Down syndrome. So I was really excited to see him get out and do something and try out acting and modeling. So I would say, it's becoming more and more common here. Being in Utah, it's a smaller regional market. So there's not a whole lot happening, but, it's a possibility.
No, absolutely. And what got you interested in being a casting director?
Well, again, since I was a booking agent for several years, a lot of the clients that I had, because I started networking out to all sorts of different states, and a lot of the clients that I had were asking me just straight up to do the casting for them. Like, oh, we don't have time, we trust you, go ahead and do it. Okay. So I was casting a lot of the commercials and a lot of the modeling shoots in smaller markets just anyways. And I had let the agency know that I was going to be phasing out from being a booking agent anyways that year, and I wanted to really focus on my career, what I was doing, and have my separate identity. And so I was encouraged by another local casting director to start my own casting company. And I said, okay. So I did that, and then I had a lot of people asking me to help with setting up productions because, again, I'm very organized, and I know a fair amount about the industry, and I've got a good connection with people. So basically I just made my casting company a casting and production company so I can cater to the needs of most of the people in the regional markets.
Well, hypothetically, are you still doing your show, most of your show, your casting, and would you be interested in having me as a client?
So I'm still doing casting. I have been working on a couple bigger projects this past year, which is why I've been really quiet on social media because I can't report any of the stuff that's going on. It's really great. When it goes through, it'll be amazing, but that's all that I can share about it, so people think I'm not doing anything. So I'm still working on it, and I do some smaller jobs here and there. Let's see, I've got a couple projects in Boise, Idaho that I've been working on. I've got clients on the East Coast, a lot on the East Coast, actually. So I don't do so much locally in my regional market. And then what was the second half to your question?
Oh, do you think I would be good enough to work with you?
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, what do you like doing? You got your show, and what else do you do?
Well, I occasionally do voiceovers. I want to get into acting. I like to, even if this opens a door for me, I like to see where eventually it goes. So I know you know people all over the place, and that's actually another question I do want to ask you off the air. Actually, if you want to talk about it now, it's up to you too. But if you can say, hey, I had some. You mentioned you had clients. Maybe you can put a good word in for me. Say, hey, I know this guy has a talk show. Thank you. Would have fun being a guest on the show. And also, if you ever need promotion, I can promote you on my show, or I can promote you on my talk show. I mean, we build some kind of record.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically how all of this starts, is you just network and keep finding those opportunities that come up. Because you're in New York, right? You're on the East Coast? Yeah. So as my projects grow bigger and bigger, there's definitely a lot more opportunity for you to hop into those things. I just have to wait for those to pop up. But I've got a good friend of mine, he's got a show that he works on, and I have clients that I work with, and so lately especially, we've had a lot of projects that we can work together on, and really that's just kind of how it goes. And with what you're doing with your show, this is a great start to it all. And getting people with a bigger following and a bigger network is really going to expose you more. So there's opportunities. I can't say what will happen, but it's exciting just to kind of think of what could happen for you. If you can get a bigger show, that would be awesome.
Hey, you helped me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask is, how many years have you been an actress, and who were some of your favorite actors you got the chance to work with?
Okay. So I'm one of those people that acting is something I always wanted to do ever since I was a wee little child. So I would say I've always been acting. But actually, I had stage fright growing up. So that has been something that I've been overcoming over the years, even still. Let's see, I did professionally, I've only been in this industry for about 5 years. So it really hasn't been that long. But again, because, I'm 30, I have kids, I try to find ways that I could get into it quicker and get my career out there. So I try to train with some of the better coaches and work with really good clients. But at the same time, I don't kid myself. I don't want to sacrifice my children's happiness, state of living, and put them in a bad spot because, finances or whatever. And then as far as people that I've worked with, I really haven't worked with that many big actors. Because I do a lot of behind the scenes, so I get to send people out there to work with all the big actors rather than me being there, which kind of stinks. So it's actually fun. I have talent that I used to represent and that are out there doing really big things now. So it's fun for me to be able to see that they started with the agency that I was at, smaller regional market, and now they're global. And of course, I'll never, get credit for that because I was, their beginning agent. But Elizabeth Wood is probably one of my most favorite models. She came in and just hustled for 6 months, and then now she's doing big global projects. And I'd love to see where she's at right now. And then I've got another guy that I've worked with quite a bit. His name's Houston. And so he's still represented by the old agency, but he's working with clients that I had brought on, like Robert Comstock, who's in New York. It's a clothing company. So now I see Houston's face all over the place with the client that I got to bring in. And I worked with him on getting him prepped for a movie that he was in. Let's see, I have been on the Yellowstone TV show, just on set playing as background. If I want to get out of the house for a little bit, I'll go and get on some of these bigger sets. So Kevin Costner is on that show, right? And there was a scene last year that he was just him with a bunch of us, and he was so nice, just talking to everybody. Very, very nice guy, and he's taller than you would think. And he says that's one of the things that people always say about him is that, wow, you're taller than I expected. Let's see, and then I was on Yellowstone again a few weeks back, and you're just kind of right there next to these actors. And I can't say which scene I was in because it's for the next season. But yeah, it's a lot of fun just kind of being there with them.
Well, you brought up a good point, if you don't mind me for asking. As you mentioned, and this is a good subject I should add to the show, so I will give you credit for this. So, going on record, you do get credit for this. You mentioned the part of you don't want your kids to not have a normal childhood or miss out with having a mother. Does being a mom impact your career, and does it dictate saying, well, I have this opportunity to get this great role, but at the same time I have to be there for my kids, but it's kind of like this could make you, but at the same time, do you really want to take something away from family?
Yeah. So my husband and I agreed because I've had multiple opportunities come up to be able to move to expand my career more so training or just attempting to get out there. And we agreed that financially, if it doesn't make any sense right now, just because of the age that our kids are, we wouldn't want to move them somewhere and struggle. Because we had, my husband, he works in construction and he does really, really well, but the market crashed in 2008. We had our second kid that year, and we've gone through that phase of struggling and not knowing how you're going to buy groceries and not knowing how you're going to pay bills. That now we're not rich by any means, we're not poor by any means, we're definitely not middle class, where we still can't afford a whole bunch of stuff, but their quality of life is okay, and so we don't want to take that away from them. So if I had an opportunity come up that, yes, it made financial sense and we wouldn't go in the hole, then yeah, I would take it. And my husband is very, very supportive of me going after this, which is a huge thing to have a spouse that knows what you're going after and they're there for you. And I said, yeah, go for it. But then we also have that agreement of, I'm not going to have us lose our house or not feed our kids to go after something. So it does have an impact, but I think it also helps kind of humble and ground you as a person. As well, it also has made my career go slower because kids. And so, I mean, you have those trade-offs, but of course I'm not going to trade my kids off for a career.
No, I agree. And the next question I was going to ask you is, because you're a booking agent and you're a casting director, do you know how to make a media release or a press release?
Yes.
Actually, that's another thing I would like your help with, because I've been trying to get myself out there, and I recently wrote up a media release. It looks okay to me, but if you're okay with it, I would love to work with you on that, to have your opinion. But what I was going to ask you is, it's always good to be grounded, because for me, I would say, yes, I want to become an A-lister, a B or a B-lister, but I don't know, mostly a B-lister for the most part, so I don't have my head up my ass.
Yeah.
But I will always want to work in retail or in the store. And what I mean by that is, I have two personalities. I have the Keith Andrew, that's who you see right now, and then I can take the mask off and I can be the real me. But the point is, once I become a big star, I can have my foot in both worlds. So if I say, for an example, I don't know, worked again for Toys R Us and something funny happens, I can use that in reality of the entertainment. Or if something funny happened in the entertainment world and it builds up my personality more, I can carry that over to my personal life. So it's always good to have a balance. But just saying, and someone said recently, what would you do if you won the lottery? And to be honest, I'd be like, same thing I'm doing now. Just work on my talk show, have a normal job, and just, I'm not gonna, what do you want to travel the world and go on spaceships or have a fancy car and all this. So yeah, it's nice, but then it gets boring. I like to keep myself in reality. A lot of people say I have my head up my ass, so I don't know what reality is. That's why they make fun of my talk show, because they said this is not really reality. But I'm showing you, just because I'm putting myself out there, I'm not going to change for anybody. And I made a promise to myself, I'm going to die who I am. What you see is what you get. And I'm not going to put on a song because you hang a little golden carrot in front of my face.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with what I'm working on right now. I've had many conversations with, money shouldn't change people, and people with money shouldn't feel like they can hold that power over everybody. And I talk to my millionaire friends the same as I talk to my people on state assistant friends. They are people, and whether or not you are more wealthy than the other doesn't make a difference to me. It's your character that defines you. And I'm the same way with money. I hate having it. Yes, I like cars. I dig cars. I don't necessarily want to have fancy cars or a big house. I would rather have land, as long as civilization was close enough. I'm still a people person. But I've already told my husband, and I've told a bunch of other people, I want to make money to give it away. I love acting because it's my passion, but the money is brought in to give to other people. I don't need it.
No, I love cars too. Unfortunately, I can't. There's a lot of people, I say to people, I can't drive. I just choose not to, because, there's a lot of idiots on the road that, it's amazing. They can have BAs and bachelors, but being behind the wheel is like freaking kryptonite, because they can't drive their lives dependent on it. But yeah, I do want a hot rod. I want like a Jaguar or a Fiat. But how many cars do you need, number one? Number two, you're pulling a bullseye on yourself to be robbed, number two. But it's kind of like, yeah, it's nice, but I'm not really a car person.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back to the show, the remaining 5 minutes, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Vanessa Lina. Adrian Lotto. This is Cynthia Batts today. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie. This is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Coke Brown.
Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke from
Hi, I'm Brynford. Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Frieza.
I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinella.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Danielle Marcia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Patrell. My name is Turi. My name is Julia Brenkovich. Kathleen Wills. Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putton.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia. I'm Rachel Rivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Winder.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Tanner.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 557. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Bailey Heesch. What's last 5 minutes and counting? Actually, I do have two more subjects for you, if you don't mind. But then I'm going to pass the show over to you. The first question I'm going to ask you is social media. Can social media make you or break you? And with everything you accomplish in your life, from being a booking agent, Actually, I wrote it down. From being a booking agent to a personal trainer, working in production, casting director, actress. I just realized there were two more I wanted to ask you. But with everything you accomplish, does your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook play a part in people saying, well, she is beautiful, but does she really have a following? Or just because you have a following, you can't, my way, what people say to me is like, yeah, he has a disability, but he can't act his way out of a wet paper bag. Does that really dictate how does social, I'm just beating around the bus. Long story short, how does social media dictate your career?
Actually, it can have a big effect on it. And I really worked with my talent when I was representing them on their social media presence, because clients do check your social media. Because, like, I have some clients that are more religious than others. And so if they look at my social media and feel like I'm, I don't want to say more scandalous than what they would prefer, then they wouldn't hire me. If I'm constantly bad-mouthing other people, saying negative things, they may not hire you. So they want to know that, yes, you are a person, but you are representing their brand. And so they have to make sure that you represent their brand how they would like. So it can have a big effect on it. And I honestly don't like being on social media. You do have to stay relevant. I feel like you have to post a lot to stay relevant, especially this day and age. And I would much rather just kind of be spending time doing what I'm doing rather than worrying about what I have to update. But I do it so I can stay relevant, so clients do still see me. So yeah, I have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't do the Snapchat because I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, so I'm on the sites that I feel like can actually do something for my career. And it's funny how each one of those sites is very different. So LinkedIn is definitely more of that professional, where I meet a lot more clients that I would talk to for investment and for bigger productions and things like that. Facebook, it's kind of a general thing, especially in the regional market. I can find talent that way. I do network a little bit with some clients on Facebook, and it's also just a way for me to keep in contact with friends and family. Instagram, I definitely have a much bigger following on Instagram because everybody's on Instagram, and it's easy just to post pictures and have the people follow you that way. And Twitter, I wish more people followed me on Twitter because I'm hilarious and I crack a lot of jokes on Twitter. So, I think.
I know how you feel.
What was that?
I know how you feel.
Oh, yeah. So I honestly, if these things start kicking off and I'm getting more and more out there, I would really stay off of Facebook more and more and more. And I would definitely resort to Twitter. I understand why celebrities are on Twitter more. It's just easier that way.
No, I agree. Now, the last two questions I'm going to ask you, then wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. The first one is, I know you mentioned you have kids. As a mother, how do you feel about your kids having social media?
My kids are not on social media, even my teenager. I think they understand a little bit because I'm in this industry that there's reasons why we don't want them out there. I will post pictures of my kids on my pages because I kind of know my audience and I know what pictures are being posted.
Right.
But yeah, there's just a lot of creepy people out there. And so I don't know when we'll allow for them to have social media. I don't know when that will happen. Two of my kids have Instagram accounts that I manage for them, but they aren't posting pictures of themselves. One of my oldest is an artist, and he's amazing. So I like to show his artwork. And my other one is just kind of a goofy kid. And so he has a Instagram for like snails, garden snails. And so I manage their accounts to make sure that, they're getting out there and their hobbies are being enjoyed, but it's not them.
Right.
And the YouTube, they keep asking about being on YouTube and being YouTubers, and we're still just not comfortable with it. And yeah, I feel like we definitely have to regulate things a lot more with the kids on social media. There's just a lot of weird things out there that I don't want them exposed to just yet in their tiny little state of minds.
No, I understand completely. And hey, if you guys can follow me, I appreciate the followers.
Yeah. No, I was telling them that I was going to be talking to a guy, and I'll probably be on YouTube. They're like, oh my gosh, a YouTuber? So they were really excited for this.
Well, Facebook, Instagram, and all that, yes. YouTube, I kind of had a falling out because, long story short, when I did come out, for example, when I said we're going to take a commercial break, I'm a big fan of Toys R Us. I like BarkBox. I like Loot Crate. So I would have their videos play in front of the video. But I would not say I take no credit. All credit belongs to them. I'm just doing this for fun. So basically, YouTube saw me as a spammer, so they turned off my account. So yeah, being on there for 6 years didn't mean a damn thing. So that's why I'm like, I don't need YouTube. But it's true, there's other things out there besides YouTube. It's better. There's Vizio. I'm trying to get my stuff on Netflix. But, YouTube, yes, there is a lot of things you kind of watch. You're like, wait, you ever watch, two people, I have a pony, I have a paper, than actually something educational, and that's good. It's, I don't know, YouTube, I had no left problems. I'm still arguing with them and getting my account back. But, it is what it is. I hate saying that, but I'm going to find ways around it. But if you guys can follow me on Instagram, I can really appreciate the follows. But wrapping up the show, I do have a couple questions for off the air. With that being said, my last two questions for you. The first one is, how can people follow you? I know we met on LinkedIn, but how can your fans follow you? Are you on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, States32, any websites I did not mention, but you want to mention?
Basically, that's it. That I have, that I'm actively out there would be my Instagram, my Twitter, and LinkedIn for business, and they're all just under my name. It's pretty easy to find me.
That's true. Now, my last question for you is, I want you to be brutally honest with this. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how you feel now, and would you recommend it to others?
When you first reached out to me, I think it was on LinkedIn, and I thought it was really great what you were doing. So my reaction was, okay, this is really cool. I didn't think anything extreme either way. I have been approached other times by people to do sort of things kind of like this, and I haven't, just because they gave me kind of a creepy vibe. Right. So I didn't get that. And no, I know that we've been trying to have this happen for a while, and yeah, I apologize that it's taking me so long. It's kind of one of those things that when I started working again in this industry, that when I'm home, because a lot of times I would bring my work home with me and I wasn't paying attention to my family. So that's a big thing of my schedule, is that when it's family time, and I try to separate that. So so I was excited when you approached me, and I just felt bad that it took me so long. And like we were saying earlier, I didn't really know what to expect, but it's going as expected, I guess. So, yeah.
I get that a lot because people are like, and I made a video about this earlier, I'm going to share. People like, I want to have some wrestlers on the show, and I want to have some other people on the show, and they're like, yeah, you're saying I have a disability? It's like, no, I say I have a disability. It's like, well, why you want me on the show then? I know nothing about disabilities. Alright, so I'm going to say this for the record. My show is to, as I keep saying for the 557th time, the whole point of my show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and to prove to them it's to amount to something. That's my job. That's my mission. The reason I approached too is I know because you said you did not have a disability, and I have interviewed actors, actresses, models, CEOs, people with learning disabilities, yes, people without disabilities. I interview every single person out there because I want to extend my hand in friendship to you and to everyone else and saying I would like to be remembered as the guy who gave me an opportunity. I'm just giving people an opportunity, and for whatever the reason is, they think, oh, well, you have a show about disabilities, I guess you want someone missing an arm and a leg or who can't speak straight and has a disability. They're welcome. They're welcome to be on the show, but I like to invite everyone, so I cover all my bases. But like you said,
I didn't even think of that when you reached out to me, so I'm kind of surprised that that's where people go to, and I'm sorry that happens. I thought you were just reaching out, so I was excited.
Like I said, I'm reaching out, making a new friend, supporting a good cause, and it's a win-win. But wrapping up our interview segment, I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but wrapping up, I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Yes, thank you so much.